So, welcome back to the podcast channel. First podcast we've ever done. We've got Wilson here with us.
Hey guys.
So, we're going to just be talking about hunting and fishing today, and then we'll have a Bible verse at the end. Talk about what are our favorite hunting and fishing stories.
You want to start, or?
You go for it. You can do the first one.
Alright, so I'll start off with hunting since we're in the hunting season mood. So first time ever deer hunting last year with a friend, which is also a friend of Dan, or Micah's. His name is Dan, and going for a doe, right? And it's getting kind of late, there's about 30 minutes before dark's left, and we've been sitting there like 3-4 hours. Dan has to pee super bad, right? I'm like, Dan, just hold it, we're almost done. And so he couldn't hold anymore. We're up in a tree stand. Finally goes pee over the edge, and about 10 minutes later, a nice doe comes up and's like, ooh, a spike. So
I remember you telling me that story. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, so I shot that one, and we never found him, but...
One thing about Dan, I'll tell you, he'll be on the podcast someday, but when he is going into a tree stand, he always has to pee before he gets in the stand.
Yeah.
It's full of fluids. What about a fishing story? You got a couple fishing stories? Been fishing for a while?
Yeah, well, another one with Dan. We were just down the road, just went down to the four-wheeler, and nice lady lets us fish at this one little home pond. Probably about an acre and a half pond. And we were in this little paddle boat she had, right? So we've been there a couple times in the paddle boat, but Dan, he's a big guy. He's like 6'2", 6'3", 150, 160.
Yeah, all muscle.
He's tall, he's big. He's kind of clumsy though.
Yeah.
So we're out fishing in this back corner. It's not a very clean pond, pretty mucky, just an old farm pond. We're fishing there, and all of a sudden Dan just loses his balance, right? And you're in a small paddle boat, like 5x5. And of course he's like 6 foot tall, so he tries to put his hand, to catch himself from falling in this paddle boat, and his hand went right on my shoulder and just yoinked me out of the paddle boat.
Did he stay in the boat?
He stayed in the boat. I'm in the water. I climbed in about faster than a cat touched water.
You lost your Shimano Corrado DC in that, right?
No, it was my
Corrado?
That was a cheap one.
Was that to lose?
No, it was Abu Garcia, the Black Max.
Oh.
But still about $80 to $100 rod and reel combo.
Honestly, that one
Gone.
deserves to be in that pond.
Yeah, I'm not an Abu guy. First bait caster ever, actually, so.
And they could have gone back and looked for, how deep would you say it was there?
4 or 5 feet, but it was just mucky.
Yeah, silt on the bottom probably.
So that's a couple of mine. You got a couple, Micah?
Yeah, I want you to tell what's the one with all the snakes on Lake Erie that one time?
Oh, me and my dad, this was like before we were really into walleye hunting. Now we got, trolling gear and stuff and really into it.
Yeah, walleye hunting. Yeah, that's real good.
Walleye fishing. And we're up there, North Bass Island. I think we're just off of North Bass Island. And, we're fishing. We haven't tried anything all day. This is summertime before we really knew, you gotta go deeper water for the fish in Lake Erie. So we're up there just fishing for probably bass, whatever we can catch, right? And there's this old dock and this old boathouse type thing on the water. And all of a sudden, we've seen a couple snakes, 100, 150 yards away from this, water snakes. So we're just rolling up fishing this dock, and there's about, 15 snakes.
Water snakes.
Poisonous. Yeah. Coming out of the dock, just all over the water on the dock, and they're just going, but we didn't think anything of it. Like, holy crap, there's a bunch of snakes. So we keep on our trolling motor, just keep going down the lane, and all of a sudden we start the motor because we were trying to get out of that, pull up the thing. We're just keep going, and then the snake just starts falling behind the boat, and we're like, okay, this is kind of weird, and we're still only 20 yards from this dock, but there's one snake coming towards the boat. We're like, what the heck? So it starts, going pretty fast. It gets beside the boat. And the freaking thing we thought was trying to get in the darn boat. So my dad just hits it real quick just to get away. But we were like, holy crap. Big old, probably 6 foot, something like that. Big old water snake coming at. But
yeah,
it's my Lake Erie story for that.
Yeah. And then didn't your dad on a local lake, his dad caught, what was the crappie? The big crappie?
Oh. like 16-inch, 15-inch. I got a picture right here.
15 or 16-inch crappie. Just a mega crappie on a local lake.
Yeah, nice lake. This nice old guy lets us hunt it, and I can pull the picture up real quick.
Yeah. And while we're waiting here, I will tell you guys a little story of one day when Wilson, Dan, and I were all in a box blind together, and you know that's trouble when you got 3 boys in a box blind. It was just the funniest thing, because Wilson, Dan, and I were in the small box blind last day of deer season the whole year. And it was just funny. Wilson had the bright idea to get out of the blind and go chase the deer, try and stalk on them. And I knew that this wouldn't happen because it's January. The deer are skittish as everything. I just called him off, and he was kind of mad the whole night that I didn't let him. It was just a bunch of does. There wasn't even a buck in there. But we were just having a great time. It was the funniest thing ever. We've got videos and stuff of just laughing and thinking that we see deer. It's just, hunting's great. Hunting's great. If you guys have killed your guys' first deer, or we want to see photos. So send photos of, comment down below, send photos of your first deer, your first fish. Just send that kind of stuff, because we'd like to see it. Maybe we'll bring some of them up on the podcast sometime. And, show everybody those. So, yeah. Did you get the photo?
No, I cannot find it.
Not yet.
It's in here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Here you guys go. There's my dad with this massive crappie. But yeah, on a little local lake. It's a nice lake there. Micah knows where they're. Actually, if you guys didn't know, me and Micah have the same birthday. We're just 1 year apart. But we have the same exact birthday, May 1st, and that's the lake that we were at there.
We go on our birthday usually. It's just a great time. Big lake.
Yeah, we went. What did we do last year? We were both together on our birthday.
Yeah, we were both at the lake.
Last year?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we went, but I mean, like, the year before that. I feel like we were together again.
Might have been.
We were fishing somewhere, maybe.
I think we were fishing here.
Yeah, but that was fun times. And trying to get the biggest fish. Now, that lake, there's a few big ones on there, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of small ones, though, like a bunch of 1-pounders. But it's one of those things, like, you go there, and if you don't catch more than 10 fish, something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just one of those lakes that's just, like, so stacked. Probably overpopulated, but fun as heck if you've never caught, you know.
If you fish it right, you can catch a lot of fish.
Yeah.
If you fish it really right, you can catch big fish. But
yeah.
It's just, how many acres do you think that is? That's probably...
Oh.
4, I think that he said 40 acre?
I think the property's 40. But the pond is, or the lake is like at least 20.
Yeah.
It's like half of the property.
It's a big lake. I mean, they put boats on there and tube on it.
Yeah.
It's just a good time. It's up there.
But a nice...
It's about 45 minutes from here. Take the boat up there. No, you got any other good hunting and fishing stories?
Well, I don't think. What do you got?
I've got a couple good hunting stories from a while ago. And also, if you guys want to see stuff on if you want topics to talk about on the podcast, go ahead and leave those in the description, in the comment down below, and we'll try and get on those. The story of when I killed my big buck last year. Actually, there's a lot of history in this spot. So this one spot on the farm there's a bedding area, food, and water all in one spot. And my grandpa, actually, all 3 years, and my dad was there 3 years ago, and my grandpa helped me the last 2 years. And we chased up these bucks, and it's kind of down in this hollow, and it's kind of like a V, and it comes down, and it like funnels everything right to this one stand when you're flushing. So we flush our farm sometimes, close the gates and stuff. But so the last 3 years in a row, they've came out and in the same exact spot. So this year I dropped him right there. 2 years ago I heart shot, he ran toward me, and then I shot him again and he dropped right there. And then the year before that was my first buck I ever killed, and I shot, and then we didn't find him for like a week, a big buck. And then my mom saw him in the creek, so we went down there and recovered him. Still got a mount out of him, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't got into hunting or fishing yet, you guys will love it, I promise. Just try it. And
yeah. And even like, I know in Ohio here, there's a lot of public land, especially if you go to the southeast part of Ohio. Like, I know sometimes public land's not the best for definitely gun hunting.
It gets pressured a lot.
I wouldn't go gun hunting on any public land just because of safety reasons. Because, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people in Ohio that have guns and just want to go hunting. But there's not a lot of people that get a nice bow to go and just, shoot for fun. You know what I mean? As, like, people with guns, they'll go out and shoot or just, have fun trap shooting or whatever. But that's the part about bow hunting that sometimes it's nice to go to public lands. You bring in the hanging ladders, is that what they call those?
Saddle.
Yeah, hanging saddle. You just pick a tree, go in a couple hours before you want to be all ready and sit.
Yeah.
So those are fun to do too if you guys want to get it. And fishing, like, there's so many ponds around here. If you just want to go, like...
Or anywhere. There's ponds anywhere.
Yeah, there's literally ponds anywhere. Like, any state that you go to, there's got to be ponds, And then, like, just ask them, like, what does it hurt to ask, you know what I mean? So, a lot more people let you fish a pond and, like, catch and release than hunt it. So, if you're more into fishing, then, yeah. So.
Yeah. And I'd also add to that, and, like, don't be afraid to go and ask somebody to hunt their land. I've done that around here a couple spots. Like, it couldn't hurt to ask, what's the worst thing they're going to say? No?
Yeah.
I mean, just be polite and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
No, but it on the topic of hunting and stuff, what are some of the upcoming hunting trips that you've got planned?
Well, actually, really recent, or soon, right after this podcast, actually, me and Micah are going to go sit tree stand. It's a little rainy out, so we're thinking hopefully get it done tonight, but if not, then we're going to go in the morning, get her done.
Tomorrow morning should be good because there's a cold front and the rain's going to stop.
Yeah, it's supposed to drop to like 30-something in the morning, and then if we don't get her done now, it's the week after Thanksgiving, we got a deer camp coming up that Micah's really nice and invited me and Dan and some other people over. Yeah. So that's gun season, so we'll hopefully be able to get it done then. Yeah. But those are some, and then tell them about what you got planned in the future for elk and stuff.
So if you guys don't know, if you guys didn't watch the video on What's Up in the Woods, the main channel, go back over there. You can watch my elk hunting video. Got it all on film, so you can go watch that.
Micah got a
this year.
Yeah.
Next year, we're in contact with a guy in South Texas about possibly doing a South Texas whitetail hunt. So that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And don't you also have another elk hunt planned?
Yeah, so we've got another elk hunt on next September with a bow again. Just like bow season. Then we're thinking about doing an antelope hunt next year as well. So got some fun hunts coming up next year, filming hard for the main channel. So if you guys are subscribed here and you haven't subscribed to the main channel, please go over there and subscribe that. So yeah. You got any fishing trips coming up?
Oh, actually, yeah. So when we usually go to Florida every year for Christmas break. Our school gets 2 weeks off. Sometimes we get like 17 days, but usually it's about 14. And we'll go down there, and we got a place about 15 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico. So we go down there, do fishing a lot. But I think this year we're gonna go on a charter, probably near the Keys. I think we're gonna drive more south. We're in Venice where we are right now, but we're gonna drive more south and try to go and hook up on some mahi or dolphin fish. That's always been that's always been a dream for me to catch one of those. So I hope we can get to do that this year. I know Dan last year or 2 years ago went down there and caught a sailfish, actually 2 sailfish. Yeah,
and I caught my sailfish 2 years before that.
So
it's a fun time.
Yeah, and Florida's always fun fishing because you never know what you're going to get. Like freshwater in a pond, what are you going to get? There's crappie, bluegill, bass, perch. Okay, and then you go to saltwater, times that by like 30. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's
you can catch anything in saltwater, honestly.
Yeah. There's about 1,000 things you can catch just in like the inland water.
No, we're thinking about another Boundary Waters trip, Minnesota. Those are usually pretty fun. Usually it's me and my dad, Dan and his dad, but we might include Wilson and his dad this year. We'll see what happens. But you start going on a couple of on a couple of upcoming trips or just stories, and I'm gonna start looking for the Bible verse for the day.
All right. Yeah, like I said, we're going to Florida. That'll be fun. I haven't been down there in 2 years because of the COVID thing. Not really that we're like scared of the COVID thing. It was just they're really shutting down like states and stuff. And then last year we couldn't go because we just got new puppies around that time, and we didn't want to leave them alone in a kennel or anything. So they're about 1.5 to 2 years old now. So we'll probably go this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hunting, like I said, probably we're going to go out soon here, and then deer camp's coming up for gun season, so that'll be fun.
We also didn't mention, but today is Veterans Day, so thank you to all of our veterans and stuff like that.
Who fought in the war, yeah.
For us to have the freedom to sit here and do this. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you guys so much. I know Cy Robertson posted a new podcast today on the Duck Call Room about Veterans Day. He does one every year. If you guys don't know, he was a veteran. So
served in, was it Vietnam?
Vietnam. So
probably Afghanistan too.
Yeah. So thank you to all of our veterans. We don't give you guys enough grace. You guys are the reason that we can sit here and do this.
Yeah. We wouldn't be here without you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any family members that were in the military? I know both of my grandpas were actually, one was Coast Guard and one was Navy, I think.
One of my great-great-grandpas was a veteran. He is passed by now, sadly.
Yeah.
But it happens, so. Okay, guys, so we're back now from our break. I had somebody come in and say hi. So we're going to tell one more story, and then we're going to go into the verse. So you send them off with one more good story, hunting or fishing.
Dude, I don't know. I guess we could tell them, like, it's not a funny story, but it was just a fun one, I guess. Me and my dad just went to Michigan last summer on a big trip because we wanted to go fishing. We're like, we got to pick somewhere, right? So we went Ludington, Michigan, about halfway up the state on Lake. It's on Lake Michigan. It's on that coast. One of the best places I've ever fished in my life. It was because never caught a pike before up until then, and this inlet or the bay before we go out on Lake Michigan. Holy crap! Me and my dad, couldn't catch any on this little lake that's beside it. I forget what the lake just down the road from it is called. It's supposed to be a really good lake. Caught a bunch of bass, but anyways, this inlet was just full of pike. I mean, full of pike, just weeds, everything that a pike would love. Throwing stick baits and spoons we were throwing out. Just, oh my gosh, dude, I've never caught so many pike in my life. Never caught a pike ever, but it was the day before we had to leave, and I think we had like 4 hours. We caught 9 pike, which is pretty good for pike fishing. And
if you guys are looking for a new lure for pike fishing, it's time. Once you lose it, or once you use it, you lose it.
And then the other thing was we took a charter out, and we went out and we caught king salmon on Lake Michigan. And I think the biggest one that day was like a 32-pounder, which is pretty good for that. But that was one of my funnest fishing times, like in the fact of catching the most, just because of all the salmon and stuff like that. And then talk about our Bible verse today. This one's actually for Veterans Day. It's the 11th month on the 11th day. It's the 11th hour and the 11th minute is what it's all supposed to come down to. But today's the Veterans Day, and Michael will read the one for today.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to wrap up the video, but let me say the verse real quick. So today's verse, it's John 15:13. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. So
basically what that's saying is, like, you have to have the love and the courage to lay your own life down for your friends and your family.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching the first podcast. And, again, leave photos and stuff down below. Let us know what topics you want us to hit on.
And, hold on, before you go.
You got something?
In the comments, if you guys have a special prayer that's, like, your favorite prayer, and then just tell it, like, put it, like, what the verse is, and then tell us, like, what does it mean to you, and then we can share that out.
We're going to end out here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast. Hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.